Hargreaves, chance for Torquay! Chris Hargreaves, the captain! If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells!
Hello, welcome to the latest episode of the Gull'S Eye View, brought to you by Galaxy TQ and joined by Dom.
Good evening, guys.
Joined by Tom.
Good evening, all.
And joined by Chris.
Evening, all. Nice to be back. Did you miss me?
Yeah, one thing I didn't miss was Torquay losing and embarrassing me and everyone. So
until we've lost by this slow intro, can't you?
Yeah, no, there's a lack of pace this week. I mean, there was just a lack of sleep last week. I can't remember it. But yeah, we're back to the four of us again. And we've lost 30% of games so far. Now, before I start, Tom was there.
That was my stat, Sam, by the way. That's my stat you've just stolen.
Sorry. Well, the thing is, right, on Saturday, I was like, oh, we've been top of the league. I was really annoyed, but it's like, oh, but actually, let's just be frank about this before we start getting into it. We are usually, if you want to win a 46-game season, you probably don't want to lose more than 7, 8, 9. We've already lost 3. So that's not great. And then we'll say, oh, we're only 2 points off. Yeah. We were only 2 or 3 points off safety for a lot of last season, but that's not how leagues work. Teams pick up points and teams run away with it. Yeovil will run away with it now, I reckon. You know, like we should be going with them and teams around that. So it's appalling still in that sense. And I mean, Tom was there. He will describe the nature of the goals. But can I just say, I'll go into it more, absolutely embarrassing way to throw away a game. There's absolutely nothing on that pitch in terms of mentality, which is not good enough. Anyway. So
2 minutes in and we've conceded the league to Yeovil, Chris.
Yeah,
that's a great start, isn't it?
Oh, this we will. It's shocking. Anyway,
so he's half 3/4 empty today, and he's not half. Crikey.
Honestly, I'm just sustained conversation every week. It's like, anyway, Tom, take it away. What was it like?
Was it as bad as the Slough game? No. Was it as bad as the Aveley game? No. Did we create chances? Yes, we did. But overall, you just remember that last 7, 8 minutes of that second half. We came out slow. I say we came out slow. Jarvis missed a great chance at 0-0 from the get-go. He's got to score that. You expect him to bag that all day long.
The season, is
he? He took too long on it, didn't he? He waited and waited to hit it, and then by the time he did, it was too late almost.
Defender got there really, and I guess put him off. We had chances, but you look at the goals we conceded. The first one's from Marshall. What's he doing? Just clear it anywhere. But if you're going to clear it, don't clear it to inside the box and straight to a Hemel man in front of goal. I mean, it was just.
I mean, this is the thing we said about defense. No, I said it last week. If we're in the National League, we'll be getting torn apart. We're so vulnerable at the back still. It's just because we're at a lower standard. Not every team has managed to work that one out yet.
How many more head starts are we going to give clubs this season, teams in our league this season? You're just making things so much more difficult for yourselves.
Honestly.
Thankfully, again, in the second half, they missed a great chance to go 2-0 up early doors, pulled wide of goal. And then finally we came to life a little bit, and the equaliser, I mean, Collins should score really. But Will Jenkins-Davis does really well for the goal, because if you look at you watch the goal back, yes, great ball by Jarvis to Collins. But if you look at the way when the ball bounces at Jenkins-Davis' feet, it kind of goes in a different direction to where you would expect it to go if it was on grass. So in that split moment, he's done really well to kind of just adjust himself slightly and get some sort of contact with the ball. It's a scrappy goal, but you don't really mind that. It was
great.
He's done very good. And the second goal, great crossing from Martin. I'll say that now because I've got more to say on Martin in a little bit. And a great header from Marshall.
As positive as that comment was, is it, Tommy?
Yeah, great so, mate. Great header from Marshall, thunderous header. And, 84 minutes in, you've just gone 2-1 up. Hemel, for all intents and purposes, you could tell they were tiring. They were, I think, at that point, 1-1 against us probably would have been a decent result for them, considering the form they were in. And you just think we're going to see this game out. And I don't know what happens, but we're top of the league for 90 seconds at that point. then we concede a silly second, poor goal again. It's just poor goals all over the place we're conceding. The defending so lackadaisical and slow. And then we give the ball away, Dan Martin gives the ball away in front of Gary Johnson. He's got his head on his hands. And let's be frank, it's poor from Martin, but they've still got a lot to do to get the goal.
I'm going to say it was in their half we gave it away, wasn't it? So,
yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of criticism of Dan, but they've got to go a long way to score still, haven't they? So
and no one gets close. No one gets close. And we're just sitting back, and the man's there in the box. One simple ball to him, and it's 3-2 past Hempstead. Nothing he could do for any of the goals. And we just didn't look like we were going to get back into it. We were shell-shocked, and it's such poor game management from us. I expect so much better. Again, as a full-time professional football club in a division mainly full of teams who are playing part-time or some form of hybrid full-time model. It's what are they doing on the training pitch, and it concerns me. It really concerns me, because I particularly don't think this division is very high in quality this season. You only have to look at we're only, granted, yes, we're 2 points from top spot, and I guess you can say that's a positive, but let's be frank, have we played really well consistently this season?
Only played like two.
Maybe the Farnborough game.
Farnborough,
most of Farnborough at home.
Chelmsford we played pretty well. I thought we'd turned the corner in those 2 games. I was liking the football we played. It was more on the deck. It was more just pass and movement. But
you were just
looked very long ball again. It looked so long ball again on the highlight.
It was lumpy.
From the highlights, Collins was the only player that looked like he was going to do anything, especially in the first half. He looked like the only live wire on the highlights.
When Stobbs was announced that he was injured, that was a big miss. We missed Stobbs, and
where's the Silver?
He can provide.
Is he injured?
Yeah, where's the Silver? He's disappeared. He's not even playing in the. He's not even in the Devon Bowl tonight, is he?
That's just he's injured, or it's either he's injured or he's just been booted out, or he's left, or something like that.
I don't know, but we were just so pedestrian on Saturday, and we needed someone like De Silva with a bit of pace in there. I keep crying out for it. Pace. Don't have it. Hemel has some really good pacey players who did their jobs really well. And again, one ball, and we were in trouble a lot of times. I mean, let's not get it. We should have at least come away with a point there with the chances we had. But let's not forget Hemel had theirs as well.
Defensively, it's more of an issue, I'd say, because we've created chances. We've scored 2 goals. I think defensively, it's more of a worry. We got away with it a bit against Chelmsford, didn't we? Because we gave them chances and they didn't take them. I mean, watching the highlights, there was just a lot of backtracking going in defence, wasn't there? McGavin was struggling to get back and cover a lot of the ground because he maybe didn't have much help in midfield. Just a lot of the issues we saw again last season, where these defenders aren't stepping up and taking control, and just a lack of organisation. And when you haven't got a senior centre back or a top quality centre back at this level taking control, that's when it can go to pieces again. And Marshall and Tomlin are trying their best, aren't they? But who's leading that back line? That's the trouble. Moxie's not a shouter, is he, at the back? He'll do his job, but who's controlling the centre? And that's a critical area.
But that was it. He came off Moxie, and then it all went to pieces at the back. We desperately need another Mox type player there at the back, or at least someone who's got a bit of experience and knowledge back there, because you take him away, they just look a bit. There's no leaders back there that I can see. And
this is my point. I was going to move on to it. Chris, have you got anything to add, by the way, before we go into it? Before I go into my long, in-depth.
No. I mean, it's just frustrating, isn't it? When you go ahead so late in a game, you've got to be able to see that game out. When you're 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go, you've got to find a way to see it out. So to be behind within 104 seconds or something, it beggars belief, doesn't it? I'm very much kind of a half glass, half full type of person, but kind of pros and cons. Like I said at the weekend, if you look at the cons of it, we're conceding goals. We've lost 3 games. So we've lost 30% of the games. But actually, there's a lot of positive as well. If you look at it, we haven't drawn many games. It's draws that kill you. So actually, we've won 6, lost 3, and drawn 1. So and that's why we're so far up, because we're either winning or losing in the main. But obviously, and of course, we won 7 out of 8 in all comps before that game. So we are. But I think those stats can be misleading. In that I don't think we've played well in many games. I think that the Farnborough game, the Chelmsford game was a good game, but I don't know if we were significantly better. The Farm was the only game we've been, and we haven't gone to any of these away games that we found much easier last time. And you can't compare, but we haven't gone to any of these games and dominated anyone.
We've not taken control, Chris, in the away games, have we?
No, and I think that might be the personnel a little bit, and Ace has not been there. Moxie can't do 90 minutes, but I think something you've just touched on something I've been mulling over the last few days. Jarvis does worry you a little because he's missing chances. Now, now they always say, it's if you're not getting any chances that you worry. But if you think about the open goal he missed against Chelmsford early on, he's missing chances in games, and he's not. And that you need to take your chances at any level. And if we're creating chances and missing them, that's partly why we've got problems. But I'm not hugely worried. But equally, we do need to go on a run where we're solid and we have a 5, 6, 7 game unbeaten run.
You're right, Chris. On paper, it's not a disaster, but when you actually look at the thing of it, like the performances aren't there, the better teams are just beating us or outplaying us. Now, you touched on something there, and I've been thinking a lot, because for ages we keep going, we need the leadership, you need your Dawson on the pitch. But actually, I think we're entering an issue in football, not just at Torquay United, where as someone who's at that age category, because I work in obviously the sector of working in education, I see it a lot, is like the people that are coming through in various like forms just we don't seem to have like equipped for a lot of battles that face us. It's not really our fault, but it's just something you starting to see that in sport. I mean, look at Chelsea's team, very young, but they don't seem equipped to deal with any sort of thing. We're not things to put in place. And this is a problem I have with a lot of young players and with the Torquay players. There's a lot of decent individuals in our squad, I still maintain. And on their day, they can show, like Marshall's a warrior at times, McGowan's got something about him. But as a collective, they just seem to go missing. And like, I get that Asa Hall, D Moxley and all that, but these players don't need them to babysit. They shouldn't need them players to babysit them on the football pitch. They should have enough about them if they're professional footballers to they take a step and stand up for each other. And they just don't seem to be able to, as soon as it doesn't go against them, there's no mentality to get these players, go back, wind the clock back to when we had Sills the other day, 07, 08, 08, 09. They were young players still, apart from Hargreaves, but they had that leadership about them. Look at the players like Ellis, players like that. They're all the same age as these now, but they're totally different characters, totally different. And I just fear that not just Torquay United, but the next few generations of footballers could be like this. And it just seems to be a total lack of responsibility. If I've lost my man, I'm not going to do it next week. You can't, there's that thing around football as you can't criticise your players as much, and they're not in like it because they don't get in academies as much. But I look at these players and they're making the same mistakes every week, and it's just ridiculous. Like those goals we conceded. There should be enough senior players. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Like so you've got Donnellan, and you've got Holstead, Moxie, Lapsley. There's enough experience in that team. You can't tell me they're too young. And
I don't like to openly criticise a lot of I don't like to openly criticise a lot of their players all the time. I get quite bored of it, and I don't like to sit and at times with Gary Johnson even. But I don't actually, even though to isolate that game itself with just what's happening, you can't blame any manager, don't matter what's led to that moment. If your players on a football pitch, professional footballers, are 2-1 up, you've just scored, and you somehow managed to concede 2 goals like that in such a pathetic, weak mentality way, there is no hope for them. If they can't see what's going on, there's no hope for them achieving what they want in their career. There's no hope for them achieving anything in this league. Like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing at any level. Like, how are they looking at each other and doing that? Like, what are you meant to do as a manager? Like, I know I'm not Johnson and Downs' biggest fan, but in that moment, how on earth are they going to do anything? I can't get my head around how pathetic that is, honestly. And like, someone seriously needs to get in there, and like, we need to find solutions to this quick, because I'm so concerned with like how we just need like Dawson, Moxie, and Asa Hall to babysit them on the football pitch. It shouldn't be happening. No, these lads are much, much more capable than this, and they have to step up for the football club and for their club.
I think we'll be all right on the home. I think we'll be all right at home games. I think it's these away games.
You're right.
Trouble.
Everyone goes,
I think we'll have more trouble in away game because the crowd gets on you.
Yeah, because they're weak.
On your side.
They're weak.
I think that's where we're going to have issues.
Stick me in with them for a week. I'll sort them out.
I feel like I've joined Newsnight tonight, Swanee. Not
honestly,
not talkie talk. Sociological issues and
it's been building.
Psychological leadership challenges.
I genuinely believe
it worked. This.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that it's part of society. You're seeing in this Torquay team right now.
Yeah, but then I'm going to go back on to Gary. Why are we still persisting with the hoofball to Jarvis? Hemel clocked on very quickly. Man marked him out the game. Bradley Asher felt so sorry for. He was isolated out that game pretty much for the entirety. Like, Ash and Jarvis should be banging in so many goals at this division. It just staggers me that I don't understand why we're not playing passing football, because I keep saying it time and time again. I believe we are one of the best teams in the division when we're passing it. But we've gone back to hoofing it on a pretty decent 4G pitch, I must add, at Hemel. Like,
question for you, Tom. Do you reckon it's because we were on the 4G pitch that we panicked, or the instruction was to go to hoofing again?
I don't know. The performance that I was just watching.
Did they not play the ball through McGavin again, Tom? I got that feeling he was quite involved still.
He was trying to be involved, but from what I noticed, it was just, we've got the ball. It's lumped forward to Jarvis. Hemel have got the ball back. They're passing it around. And it's like, why are we just, our goals came from when we sped it up a little bit and we started utilising, pass and move, get the balls into the box, stop lumping it forward.
When you've got players like Jenkins playing, McGavin, that you don't want to be playing it long, do you? You want to play it on the pitch.
But look at the equaliser. Look at the ball. Look at the ball for the equaliser.
Exactly. That's what Jarvis is. Play it to his feet. I know he's a big, strong lad, but his best thing is when the ball's played to his feet, because he can bring players in that way. Even when we had Danny Wright, who was taller than Jarvis, they didn't work with Danny Wright. So how was it going to work with Jarvis? Like, use your players' strengths. I don't understand. I just feel we've gone backwards so much in like the last week, and that's what's done my head.
And then I listened to Gary's full-time interview. He was just so monotone. If I was Gary, I'd be fuming. I'd be absolutely livid with what's gone on there.
I agree. But with interviews, it is part of like the game, isn't it?
It's interesting. There was a lot of conversation amongst the Talkie Talk guys, wasn't it, the weekend, about the way he kind of stands out, doesn't really say about it. I've never been a huge fan of, you see it with a lot of coaches, and you see them at Playmore, of managers who shout and scream and are constantly shouting directions.
We've seen a few this season, Chris, haven't we?
I think that's failure.
And it must be hard to listen to. It must be hard to play with when you've got that going on in the background. So I don't know. It's about showing passion by standing there and shouting instructions, because actually you should be doing that work in the week.
I agree.
Players at any level should be going into a game just drilled, and they know what they're doing. So actually, if you're stood there kind of taking it all in, and I think but it's interesting what you said there, Sam, in that I think a lot of players can work it out for themselves. Yeah. A lot of players have to adjust, and again, it's very, at times you can kind of, I do some coaching only with my son's team, but at times we've just gone to a 9v9 pitch, which is bigger, and actually you notice things from the side which you can implement in terms of just tweaking things around. But you don't stand there shouting and screaming, because it doesn't achieve anything. So I don't know how much truck I have with that. But equally, I think if
you've got Asa and Kevin Dawson, midfield, they would probably sort it out themselves. And I don't think
like a talk, isn't it?
Tom Lapsley's not that sort of character. He's too busy winding up the referee to organise other players. He sort of bombs around the pitch, doesn't he? So I think you're missing that kind of little bit of direction from Asa, perhaps, in those sort of games. But is he going to be able to play very much going forward? That's the trouble. You can't, you sort of like.
And I guess if you're a glass half full sort of person, maybe you're thinking, right, okay, we're missing Asa, we're missing Dawson. When they come back, they should improve things. And yet, if we're still sort of in that near the top, then...
But then you're playing less football, aren't you? Because Asa Hall can't do the same things as McGavin. So you're moving the sort of...
I love them players, but I think you've got to invest in the future now. You've got to build it around McGavin. Yeah. Also, did Jenkins Davies go off injured?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. I don't know if it was... It's just soon after the goal, wasn't it? He went off. I don't know. I think I was just still in shock of what happened after our 2-1 win, 2-1 goal.
Yeah, he went off after about 65, didn't he, Jenkins, I think?
Yeah, what was it? He went off just after his equaliser. What am I on about? It's just a bad couple of minutes. But to be frank, I mean, Hemel, they've had a good run at the minute. They're unbeaten in 7 now, I think. So as Gary says, there's no mugs in this league.
But looking at the squad as well, the squad's still a concern, isn't it? Because you've got to have players come off the bench who are going to make a difference. They're going to improve what you've got. They're going to, they're going to keep you winning, or they're going to lift you if you're not winning, or you're trying to score to win. And I don't know those players that come off the bench are doing that. Are they? This lad on loan from Southampton's not really kind of got, he's not improved, made it any better, has he? I'm not saying anything new here. I'm very much jury's out with De Silva, because I don't know what he offers you. Yeah, he's quick, but he's got no quality.
I don't think he's Gary's sort of player, Chris. I'm surprised he came back.
I don't see what he offers you, to be honest. In terms of, he's not going to come on and we saw the odd flash of genius last year, didn't we? But in terms of, is he going to put a good cross in? I don't know. He is. You've got your workman like midfielders, your Hansen's coming off the bench. You just need a bit more dynamism off the bench. I think the squad just needs to get better, but it's how you do that at the stage of the season. And as we regularly see, it's only 18, 19-year-old kids you get on loan from Premier League or Championship teams that you seem to be able to get in. And as you've seen with Pierce, they just don't really
he's a striker, though.
get involved.
He's been stuck on the wing, so
plays out of position. Yeah.
But he's also not getting in the team.
I'd take a centre back, a right back as well for trouble. You kind of look at the areas you want to improve, and
because the Crow's gone out on loan, so I presume someone's going to come in. But
I mean, Krask hasn't played, does he? He's playing in the. Is Krask playing in Devon Bowles?
I like Krask.
Yeah.
He sort of disappeared, doesn't he? Which is a bit strange, because he didn't do too bad.
I thought he was all right. I'd prefer him in midfield, actually. I like to see him in midfield now. But
one thing I also noted from Hemel was the amount of short corners we were playing for some reason. Just kept, we've never been really good with short set pieces from corners. Just kept giving the ball away. Just things like that. Just small things like that. Just really grind me as a Torquay fan.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think that.
And they had a man with a huge long throw. As well, that they fully utilised to effect. So I don't know. I just, again, I expect better from the players that we've got. And okay, it's not a disaster at the minute, but losing 3 games after 10. National League South, man.
It's rough. Anyway, I think that's part 1. We might cheer up in part 2. I'm really fed up. I think because I didn't really process it the weekend that way. I know I'm just processing it more today. As soon as I saw the actual videos of it as well. But no. Right.
I was like that. I was slightly disappointed. Then I watched the highlights.
And I wanted to invite.
Can I just put the pies in?
Yeah. Right. I haven't signed off the episode yet, but on that note, we will.
Haven't we?
We'll see you in part 2.
Don't give me that.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Banyan. Sells.